Thank you for joining me. This is Poppy and Prim Creations. My name is Laramie, and this is my little corner of YouTube. This is a mostly knitting podcast, but I am going to get into a few other crafty things and even some baking from time to time. I'm coming to you from Topeka, Kansas, where I live with my husband and our two daughters, Lily and Olive. This is episode 2. And this is it's Thursday, February 15th. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. And yeah, so just a little bit of stuff before we get started into the knitting. I put out my first episode last week. We had some technical difficulties. And so getting the video uploaded and edited and all those things kind of took some time to get done. And so this is a little treat because we are going to get back onto a decent schedule. But thank you for joining me. If you are a returning viewer, I really appreciate you coming back. So let's get into Thirsty Thursday, because I record on Thursdays even if I don't upload on Thursdays. It is Thursday, so we're doing Thirsty Thursdays. And today I am drinking water. But it's out of my cute little Lullaby Baby tumbler. Just a little snippet. I won't go on too big of a rabbit trail, but we cloth diaper our children. Lily is potty trained now, but she's almost 4. But we cloth diaper Olive and we cloth diaper Lily, and we are exclusive to the Lullaby Baby brand. I'm one of their brand advocates, so we love them. Fantastic diapers. I might do a little review of them eventually, even though it's not knitting related, but I just love them so much. So, we are cloth people. So, let's get started. As you can see, I've got a little bit of coolness back here with my little lights. I decided to kind of switch up where I was filming. I have to film in our living room because both my girls are napping right now, so I can't use either of their rooms, even though they're a little bit more sunny. So hopefully this is a little better lighting than the last one, but let's get started. I don't have any finished objects today because I've been super busy with my baking business. I'll get a little bit into more of my baking stuff towards the end of the episode, but I'll get into my whips. So for whips, I've got my 2 pairs of socks. Those of you who were here for my first episode last week know that I am a little bit crazy and decided I was going to knit 24 pairs of socks this year. Not 12, 24, because I'm crazy. So, I've got my 2 pairs of socks that are on the needles right now. These are my Valentine's Day socks. Oh, they're all tangled in their needles. So here those are. Let's see if it'll focus. This is Lolo Did It's Hippo for Valentine's Day, and it is so gorgeous. I'm doing the Pebbles texture sock from the Knitting Expat, just on the front, and then just stocking it in the back. I also have little Lolos. This is the Amazed colorway. I'm going to do heels and toes in. I have a little surprise that I'm going to do for the heels, but we'll just wait till the next one for you to see that. So I am not quite as far as I wanted to be on those, but that's okay. We'll get there. I'll just spend the last half of the month doing that, so let me grab my other sock. Alright, so here is my second sock. that I casted on since the last podcast for my February socks. This is just a plain vanilla sock in Desert Vista Dye Works Zombody Build a Snowman. Just using some Knit Picks Stroll, I think, fingering in white for that. I've already placed my markers. I'm going to do a cut-in afterthought heel. So here's my markers. I'm just going to knit a few more inches before I cut that in. So a little bit farther. I could definitely crank that out, but I got a little obsessed with something. So there is whip number 2. Third whip we've got here. I got obsessed with my Find Your Fade. The last time I podcasted, I was waiting for my fade to get here, and so I had planned on casting on the hipster shawl from Hohi, and I did, and I had a little bit of issues with it, and I'll get into that in just a second. But I decided to just go ahead and cast on my Find Your Fade. So my fade came. It wasn't quite what I had expected or thought that was what I ordered, but I guess that's kind of just what you get with hand-dyed yarn, and I still love it. So, but here it is. I just added in the third color. So I worked through the color blending, and now I'm just working on the garter section of the third one. It is getting so big. So there it is. I can go ahead and just show you the rest of my fade for that. It's obviously part of my acquisitions, but it just kind of makes sense. I have it sitting back here on my bookshelf. So, so here is the rest of the fade. These are is a fade kit I ordered from Cornbread and Honey on Etsy. And yeah, I love it. Just not quite what I had expected, but that's okay. It's hard to show this. Yeah. So there's my fade, and I'm really enjoying it. It's just now kind of getting big enough that it's hard for me to kind of work on with my little one because she wants to pull on it, and especially the lace sections. It just seems to get kind of hard. So I don't normally work on it when they go down for bed. So there's that. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit into my hipster shawl. Maybe somebody can help me with it. So here's my yarn, first of all. It's Fiber for the People in her Piglet colorway on the O Merino base. And I love it. Oh my goodness, it's so scrumptious. So I started the hipster, and it started a lot like a lot of the crescent shawls start with like casting on a few stitches, knitting how many rows of that, and then picking up the edges and picking up the other edges, and then you start working out the crescent shape. And when I picked up the edges of the initial strand, I didn't realize it when I first did it, but I left like these eyelets, and so when I worked it out big enough that I was seeing the increases on the edge, they just didn't match. And it may not have bothered me, but it did bother me at the time, so I just went ahead and frogged it, and I'm just going to recast it on. but then I got obsessed with my Find Your Fade, so it just didn't take priority anymore. But I need to figure out what exactly I did wrong when I picked up those stitches to create the eyelet, because I've looked on Instagram and Ravelry and nobody else is having that issue. So I think I just need to figure out how I picked up those stitches and why it had the little eyelet in them to fix the problem. So, yeah, so that's what happened with the hipster. It would be done by now because I really enjoyed working on it. I just wanted it to be perfect, so we'll cast it on when I get castonitis. Castonitis? Funny story, I used to be a monogamous knitter, but this year I have just been like cast on all the things. And I think it's partly because having my little girls, I need some things that I can do that are more intricate when they're sleeping, and then when they're awake I need something like mindless and that I can just put down and go like tend to them, and you know, those types of things. So yeah, so I just have, right now I have 2 pairs of socks. I worked a little bit on my boxy. I got maybe 2 or 3 more inches of the body worked on, but there's no point for me to show you that because it's just stuck in it like around and around and around. And then I got 1 stripe into my granny stripe blanket, but again, we can just wait until it's a little bit further along to show that. So, yeah, that's what I've been working on. We'll get on to acquisitions. So again, I showed you the rest of my fade. The only other stuff I have a couple needles that I got, and then just a couple little like bits and bob things. So I'll grab my needles real quick. So for these needles, we have a local yarn shop. It's called Yak and Yarn here in Topeka, and I really wanted to cast on the hipster, and I wanted to have the needles for my Find Your Fade. So I just went to this Yak and Yarn place, and all they had were the Hiya needles. And I've never really used Hiya, with the exception of I have a set of the 9-inch circulars, and I like them a lot. But I've never used like their normal length ones, and to be honest, I don't really like them. I feel like that's blasphemous to say, but maybe somebody can help me. So part of my problem, this one doesn't have as big of a problem. So I got the size for the hipster and these bamboo. I actually really like wood needles from time to time, and this is the only ones they had in this particular size and length, so I went with the bamboo. And the cord's not that bad. This is going to be really hard to see. It's pretty springy, but not as bad as the other ones I got. So these I got for my Find Your Fade, and I casted it on, and I just couldn't even. I was just like, I can't even deal with this. So I ripped it out, and I actually casted it on with just a set of clovers that I've had forever from, I'm sure I got it at like Michael's or something. So here's that one. These are the Hiya strips. This is really hard to show, but this cord is ridiculous. Like, what is this? I don't know how to fix it. Is this one of those times you can put it in like hot water and get it to unkink? Like, it was just driving me nuts because when it's got like, I don't understand. So I'm not even using them. If anybody has any recommendations, please help. I want to love them because everybody says they love them. I just couldn't even stand it. I was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, I love the needle part, the cord. Maybe I'm just spoiled with the Chow red lace cords, because I normally just buy those. I don't have any interchangeables or anything. I just normally use fixed circulars. So, yeah, I just don't I don't understand. But yeah, if you have any thoughts on that, please leave some comments or you can message me on Instagram or whatever. So yeah. So my other acquisitions are just some little things I've got to stroll through Michael's by myself. Well, with my little one, my little one, little Olive, just toting behind my back. Whoa, no, drop it. I wanted to get some journals, and they have these really cute ones, so I got them. So I just got this one. It says, "Find joy in the ordinary." So there it is. It's just a blind journal. Right now I'm just keeping little notes and on my projects and stuff like that in it. So my kind of 2018 word is joy. Something I've been saying a lot is do what brings you joy, and don't be afraid to get rid of what doesn't bring you joy. And so, yeah, so that just really spoke to me. I also couldn't pass these up. These are like baking. This one's got ice cream cones and donuts and French macarons, or macaroons. Some people say macaroons. The official title is macaron, spelled M-A-C-R-O-N. Here's ones with just the French macarons on them. And then this one says, "Life is sweet." I just loved those, and I couldn't pass them up. So, yeah, I got those. Haven't wrote anything in them yet, but. And then I got a box for my box of socks, and I have my two pairs of January socks in them right now. And it says, again, joy, be filled with joy. And I just couldn't pass up. It's got these like whisks and spoons and spatulas, and it's this like faux wood with like the kind of, it's just, yeah, there it is. My two pairs of socks. Speaking of my two pairs of socks, another little rabbit trail, but I was terrified the other night. I'm the kind of person that like I wear my socks to bed and then I like kick them off like once I get under the sheets and stuff. And one of my Pixel Rise socks, this is one from last time, but one of my Pixel Rise socks went missing. And I was so terrified that it ended up like in our like washing machine. I was like gonna cry. I would just knit myself another pair because I loved to knit them, but I was still gonna be really sad. So, but luckily it appeared. So there's that. What else do I got? I don't think I have anything else really knitting related. I didn't write show notes this week, so I may be a little bit scatterbrained. But if you're here for the knitting, you can go ahead and turn me off. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a baking segment, and then a little bit of what's going on with us, and then I am going to go finish my day. So if you were here for the knitting, thanks for stopping by. Be sure to like and subscribe below. I am really excited to get to know all of you. So yeah, we'll see you later. But if you want to stay and listen to a little bit of baking stuff, stick around. So. Okay, so I have been super busy baking this week. If you don't know, I run a little baking business out of our home called Prim Creations. I started it when our youngest was a little over a year old. And yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. I have taken a little bit of time off. I was really sick with my pregnancy with Olive, and then transitioning into a family of 4 with 2 kids, and I work a part-time day job, and my husband's in school, and so it's taken a little bit of time to kind of like get back into the groove of it. But yeah, so But this week was pretty crazy. I had Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day was yesterday. I had Valentine's Day orders, and then my mom works for the government, and so I frequently get things for them, and they were having this big naturalization ceremony, which I guess is when people become U.S. citizens, and so they ordered this big order, and so I had like 180 star-shaped cookies that I got to pipe and fill and decorate while I watched the Olympics, and yeah, so they were kind of like set up like a flag, and it was really fun. So, and then yeah, Valentine's Day, and then I had orders last weekend for a gender reveal and also a birthday party, and then this weekend I have a birthday party. So yeah, it's just been really busy. So it's exciting, but it's also a lot of work. So I don't get to knit quite as much. Just been watching a bunch of podcasts and pretending that I'm knitting. But so yeah, it's been good. If you guys are interested in any like tutorials, baking wise, or you have any recipe questions or things like that, like I am not above sharing my recipes or techniques with people. So just let me know. I would love to do that. So yeah, and then I guess we'll just give you a little update into what we're up to in our lives. So I mentioned my husband's in school. I mentioned the last time on my podcast that he got into grad school. He got into Michigan State, so we'll be moving from Kansas to Michigan in mid-June. And so we're just kind of prepping for that. He's got a really hard semester at school here, like this semester, so he's having a hard time like with senioritis on top of, getting it done so we can go on with our days. But yeah, that's what we're doing here. Getting ready to like look at apartments and finding a new job and all that fun stuff that comes with moving. But it's really exciting, and we're gonna get to be really close to a couple of friends of ours, Brian. We have some friends, Brian and Cassandra. You might know Cassandra from Riza Knits. She's on Instagram and Ravelry, and she is a really, 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 really good friend of mine. And her husband, Brian, actually was our ordained minister or whatever. We got him ordained online so that he could marry my husband and I. And yeah, so we're going to be pretty close to them now, and that's really exciting. We get to visit in March, so yeah, it's really exciting. And then yeah, we'll be there for the first week of June. So yeah, other than that, we're just hanging out. Olive's getting ready to cut some teeth. My oldest was a really easy teether, but a really hard baby. And I just knew that Olive would be the much harder teether because she's a much easier baby. So they're completely different. But yeah, she's getting ready to pop her right tooth, and that's just been a joy. So yesterday was Valentine's Day. We didn't do anything super fun. We have 2 kids, so my husband made a really delicious steak and risotto dinner. We had a bottle of wine. I picked him up a little growler. They actually call them howlers at our brewery. It's a smaller growler. We really like craft beer, and so I went and refilled our howler with a beer that he would like, because normally we pick something we both like so we can share it. But I'm a little more picky when it comes to beer, and he likes the really strong stuff, so I went and picked out something for just him. He got me a bath bomb and a bottle of wine and let me have time to just like enjoy a nice bath without 2 kids in the bottom of the bathtub, in the bath with me. And yeah, it was a nice chill night. And then my parents are going to come over and watch the girls this weekend, so we can do lunch and a movie and just enjoy some time together, because we all know that is a prized thing when you have 2 kiddos. So yeah, but yeah, it's just kind of a little snippet into what we've been doing. After I'm done recording this, I'm going to start editing it and also bake some cookies. I've got a birthday party this weekend. It's train themed, which is fun. Little boy that I've done. This is his third birthday. I did his first, second, and now his third birthday. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. If I don't get this done recording, or I don't get this done editing before I get those off, I'll insert a picture. But if I don't, check out my Instagram. I always post there. I didn't put in the beginning of the video, but the places you can find me are Ravelry. I'm just Laramie app, and it's going to be right here on the bottom. On Instagram, I'm much more active, and my username is Laramie Appenfeller. Again, it's going to be right here. So yeah, and I put pictures of my kiddos, my knitting, my baking, everything's on one central Instagram, and yeah, so that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below, and make sure you give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. We will be seeing you in a couple weeks. Thank you.
Blah 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 blah.